At number 5, we have the Tiny Tim onstage heart attack. For those of you who don't know, Tiny Tim was an American ukulele player active between the 1960s until the 1990s. Younger generations might recognize his music from either SpongeBob SquarePants or 2010's Insidious. In 1996, Tiny Tim was set to perform at the Ukulele Hall of Fame Expo. Once on stage, he stated that he wasn't feeling well and asked his audience to excuse him if it somehow got in the way of his performance. Almost immediately after, he suffered a massive heart attack, causing him to fall off stage and injure his head. While he did manage to survive this, he suffered another heart attack and died just 2 months later. The entire event was caught on camera and broadcasted across several national news stations, but somehow has not made its way onto the internet and is now considered lost. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the 2011 film 127 Hours. For those of you who aren't, the film is based off the real-life story of a man named Aron Ralston, who in 2003 made the mistake of hiking alone through Blue John Canyon. While climbing his way down the canyon, a large boulder came loose and landed on Ralston's arm, ultimately trapping him. With no way to escape and time running out, Ralston began creating video diaries to leave behind for whoever found his body. It goes without saying that Ralston did in fact survive this event, and not because someone found him and was able to remove the boulder that had him pinned to the canyon. In case you haven't heard about the story yet somehow, I'm going to leave it to you to figure out how he managed to free himself. While James Franco was allowed to view the video diaries for the purposes of making the film, Ralston has made it clear that he doesn't intend to release the full set of clips to the public, stating that he considers them too private and deeply personal. In June of 2016, 23-year-old Colin Scott and his sister were making their way through Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. The two were looking for a hot spring to bathe in, but were unaware that the springs at Yellowstone are incredibly dangerous, reaching temperatures of up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. The pair reportedly ignored warning signs that were posted around the park and stepped away from the viewing platform. Colin had found himself what seemed to be the perfect hot spring and approached it to test the water's temperature. While doing this, he managed to accidentally slip in, and needless to say, he did not survive. He was essentially boiled alive, and those tasked with recovering the body have been quoted saying that there was quite a bit of dissolving. The entire incident was caught on camera by Colin's sister, but for obvious reasons, the video has not been released to the public. In 2014, 31-year-old British banker Jett Jennings was arrested in Hong Kong for the murders of 2 Indonesian women, one of which he tortured mercilessly while recording the entire event on camera. Jennings had met the first woman online, and the two ended up at his apartment where he would go on to sexually assault and torture her for over 3 days. Eventually, Jennings forced the woman to lick his toilet bowl, and while she was doing so, he took a blade to her throat, ultimately ending her life. 5 days later, he met another woman at a bar and managed to bring her home. It's reported that she began to panic after noticing suspicious items in Jennings' apartment, leading to a struggle that would end in her also getting her throat cut just as the first victim did. Immediately after, Jennings called the police himself, and when they arrived, they found the second woman barely alive and bleeding out, and the first woman's body stuffed in a suitcase on the balcony. Unfortunately, the second victim died shortly after, and police seized Jennings' iPhone, which reportedly contained several photographs and over 4 hours of footage depicting the torture of the first woman. Alongside that were video diaries that Jennings created detailing his perspective on the crimes, which he described as an interesting experience. The footage never was released to the public, and at this point, it's safe to say that it never will be. Also known as the Toy Box Killer, David Parker Ray claimed to have been abducting, raping, torturing, and murdering women between the 1950s all the way up until his arrest in the 1990s. Ray was dubbed the Toy Box Killer after his homemade torture chamber, which he referred to as his toy box. It was reportedly stocked full of approximately $100,000 worth of various torture devices, including a gynecological table, whips, chains, surgical blades, sex toys, DIY electrical shock devices, and unfortunately, much, much more. Upon kidnapping a new victim, Ray would leave them in his torture chamber tied down and force them to listen to an audio recording detailing what he was about to do to them and how he expected them to behave. On top of this, he would also occasionally film himself raping and torturing his victims, and while some of the footage has been seen by those in court, it has never been seen by the public. The same goes for his audio recording, however, a transcript of it can be found online with a quick search. I'm going to play you a reading of a part of that transcript, but I must warn you, it is extremely graphic and unsettling, so if this does seem like something that might bother you, I suggest clicking away now.
Hello there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You're disoriented and scared too, I'd imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while, at least you need to get your shit together and listen to this tape. It's very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you've been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you, and how long you'll be here. I don't know the details of your capture because this tape is being created July 23rd, 1993 as a general advisory tape for future female captives. The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years. If, at a future date, there are any major changes in our procedures, the tape will be upgraded. Now, you're obviously here against your will, totally helpless, don't know where you're at, don't know what's gonna happen to you, you're very scared or very pissed off. I'm sure that you've already tried to get your wrists and ankles loose, and no, you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's gonna happen next. You're probably thinking you're gonna be raped, or you're fucking sure right about that. Our primary interest is in what you've got between your legs. You'll be raped thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've got. Because, basically, you've been snatched and brought here for us to train and use as a sex slave. Sound kinda far out? Well, I suppose it is to the uninitiated, but we do it all the time. It's gonna take a lot of adjustment on your part, and you're not gonna like it. Not a fucking bit, but I don't give a big of a rat's ass about that. It's not like you're gonna have any choice about the matter. You've been taken by force, and you're going to be kept and used by force. What all this amounts to is that you're going to be kept naked and chained up like an animal to be used and abused at any time we want to. Any way that we want to. And you might as well start getting used to it, because you're going to be kept here and used until such time as we get tired of fucking around with you. And we will, eventually, in a month or two, maybe 3. It's no big deal. My lady friend and I have been keeping sex slaves for years. We both have kinky hang-ups involving rape, dungeons, games, etc. We found that it's extremely convenient to keep 1 or 2 female captives available constantly to satisfy our particular needs.